Hello everyone, welcome back. Durbanites FPL. It is here. The season starts in just over 24 hours and it's time for us to look at squad selections for game week 1. Let's start by looking at transfers. A lot of movement in the transfer market this season. A lot of players leaving and heading out from the Premier League. Some of our favorites, Bruyne, Rashford, Son, all no longer available for selection. Estupinan is out, Alexander-Arnold is out, Diaz is out, so a lot of thought going into who will be on your team this season. So to do that, let's have a look at the transfers in as well. Lots of big names coming in. Arsenal coming in with Zubimendi, Mosquera and Gyökeres, the strikers flooding into the Premier League as well. Ekitike coming in for Liverpool, Benjamin Sesko coming in for Manchester United. Where will Alexander Isak goes? We don't know just yet, but Aston Villa brought in Ivan Gisan to support Ollie Watkins and give them some firepower up front. And as you can see, a lot of exciting players. Liam Delap going to Chelsea, as well as when we look at interleague transfers, João Pedro. So Chelsea again being very active in the market. Breaking the British Premier League record as well was Florian Wirtz coming in from Bayer Leverkusen to Liverpool. So it is going to be super exciting in this Premier League this season. So let's look at the interleague moves as well. As you can see, a lot of players moving between clubs in the Premier League as well. Nogar and Madueke into Arsenal, joining Kepa in there. Disasi goes back to Chelsea. Cunha and Mbeumo, fantastic picks from last season, both of them going to Manchester United to join up with Sesko to give a real firepower to Manchester United. Anthony Elanga leaving Nottingham Forest to get to Newcastle, exciting on the wing there to join up with that team. And as you can see, some of the new teams also taking advantage and breaking up players along the way. Harrison moving from Everton to Leeds, Longstaff going from Newcastle to Leeds, and of course one late one that we haven't included here is Jack Grealish now joining Everton from Manchester City, a big one. So these are players that are looking for serious game time in a World Cup here. It's going to make the biggest difference. Let's go forward looking at the matchup. So guys, a new way of doing the matchups as well, taking it directly from the site so that we can be more dynamic. Here you'll be able to see the first 10 game weeks as well for every single club to make your decision on long-term planning. We've decided to call out a few of them as potentially difficult choices to make. Arsenal, with all their firepower, only have one clean fixture in the first 6 and 3 in the first 10. They are taking on arch rivals Liverpool, Man City, Newcastle. On the way, Manchester United on the first day, Nottingham Forest on day 4. It's very difficult for them to get through in these first 10. I think they could possibly do it, but not one I'd recommend. Same with Crystal Palace. As you can see, a lot of reds coming up there. And then you're still looking at teams like Nottingham Forest, Everton, that are still potentially hiccups to Crystal Palace's plan. Same for Fulham as well. A lot of difficult games ahead. Liverpool as well, potential champions. So champions already defending and with a fantastic transfer window. Everyone is looking at them challenging again, but very difficult games. Bournemouth is a tricky fixture tomorrow. Then Newcastle and Arsenal back-to-back. Later on catching Chelsea and then Manchester United back-to-back. It is not going to be an easy season for them to defend, especially with Manchester City also building in the transfer window and having a much better run. So they're going to be under pressure early. And Manchester United, for all the work that's being done in the transfer window, tough start against Arsenal. Manchester derby happening in game week 4, and then Liverpool within the first 10. So it's going to be a tough challenge for them. Chelsea is also hidden in there as well. So it's going to be Manchester City and Chelsea back-to-back. Not an easy start for Manchester United, given that they're going through a rebuild. Looking at teams where you should focus your attention and where we have focused, Aston Villa with a fairly good run into the season as well. They're coming off not too many injuries as well, and all of their players available. So for now, they've managed to hold on to their key man, Ollie Watkins. So far, so good for them as well. Chelsea having a fairly good run as well, coming back from Club World Cup as champions. They are looking really dangerous this season, and quite a few good matches until they catch up with Manchester United in game week 5, Liverpool game week 7, and then looking at maybe Spurs as the other one that might give them some issues. Then you're looking at Manchester City again. As we said, they do have Arsenal, they do have United, they do have Aston Villa, but 7 out of these 10 games should be winnable for them. Considering that Wolves have lost a lot of players, so have Brentford. So these teams are not going to be challenging. Bournemouth is probably going to have to rebuild its backline. Durbanites is close to his move to AC Milan, if I'm not mistaken, or Napoli, and Milos Kerkez, who was very influential for them last year, has already left the club for Liverpool. So it's going to be a very different Bournemouth and Brentford team that you're looking at here. With Wissa also looking to move from Brentford possibly to Newcastle. So right now everything's up in the air. Notts Forest have managed to hold on to Morgan's Gibbs White in one of the more controversial moves this transfer season, but also managed to hold on to other players as well. So look at them, maybe not replicating the fantastic run they had last season, but at least challenging. So again, to take on teams like Brentford, Crystal Palace, West Ham, etc., they should have enough firepower to do that. And then Spurs come in fresh off, unfortunately, a defeat in the Super Cup, but definitely with the Europa League still fresh in their mind. They have a slightly refreshed squad. They're looking to do more. Probably a good run. A lot of green fixtures in there, a lot of promoted teams that they're looking at. So a chance for them to do well at the start of the season, and some tricky fixtures slotted in between, including the game against City in game week 2, and then in game week 10, the game against Chelsea, and then Aston Villa a couple of weeks before that. But looking at that, these are the teams we've looked at for selection. So going into the backlines as well, just a few injuries and suspensions currently happening within the backline. But we're looking at picks for Sal's, Sanchez, or Edison as your goalkeepers coming up the back. And then for the defense, Aid Nouri looking to build on what he did last year at Wolves with a more solid team in front of him in Man City. Milinkovic from Forest or Aina, depending on your budget, you can choose either one. Reece James and Cucurella from Chelsea. Reece James, the captain, should be guaranteed minutes, and now that he's back on form, should be doing really well for Chelsea. Ezri Konsa and Ian Matson out of Aston Villa, but of course there are many options there that you can choose from, including Matty Cash or Alex Moreno. There's many options in the Villa defense. Pedro Porro and Van de Ven, so the scorers from the Super Cup as well, so definitely dangerous. And don't forget, Aaron Wan-Bissaka does really well on the attacking and defensive end. Don't forget, guys, for every tackle, block, and counter, you will get points for your defenders as well, up to 2 points that you can get for them. So it's more than just clean sheets this season. Now looking at the midfield, again, some issues and some, let's say, some doubtful and some injuries coming up there. So Spurs are really suffering in the midfield currently, but they are indeed bolstered by having Mohamed Kudus that has joined them from West Ham, so they're looking forward to that. Looking at the picks, guys, too many to pick from. It is a strong season. Cole Palmer's been on his best form since early last season, really doing well in the Club World Cup as well. Next to him, the young talent Estevao doing absolutely well at Chelsea. If he gets game time, it might be a bit tricky for minutes, but if he does, doing fantastically. Newcastle looking a little bit thinner, but Harvey Barnes has been doing fantastic, as has Lewis Miley. Not sure about minutes for Miley, but it is a punt that you can take. Morgan Rogers ready for Aston Villa, as are Yuri Tillmans and John McGinn. Marmoush for Manchester City has now been classified as a midfielder, so you can take advantage of that there. And of course, them having Rodri back as well. Ryan Cherki doing really well, joining from Lyon, so look at an exciting playmaker there. And then Salah and Wirtz out of Liverpool, do I have to say more? Two of the most electric players now going to be at that Liverpool front line. Kudus and Johnson from Spurs, Gibbs White still retained at Notts Forest, with Elliot Anderson, ex-Newcastle, who's been doing really well. And then Forest have also brought in Emile Ndoye. And don't forget Inde from Everton, who is now on penalties and is a seriously big pick for a lot of managers in this first few game weeks. Looking at the forwards, so here we do get spoiled for choice, of course. Nicholas Jackson still suspended from his loss of composure, if I can say that, in the last couple of games last season, back-to-back red cards, so he is suspended. Gabi Jesus is out injured, unfortunately. Dom Solanke did feature in the Super Cup last night, but he has been flagged as doubtful, so not sure if he's taken a knock. And Isak from Newcastle is confirmed from Eddie Howe that he will not play in the first game against Aston Villa, but it's not because he's injured, it's not because he's suspended, it's because of the controversy regarding his transfer. Currently, he has not been training with the team and will not participate. So, all those who are looking forward to have Alexander Isak in your lineup, unfortunately, we're going to have to dodge him for now. Now, looking at the picks, Ollie Watkins again in great form in preseason, and Aston Villa are looking solid. So, a start against a Newcastle team that is definitely a little bit in, let's say, not incongruent. But then you have Erling Haaland, who does fantastic in the early season and has a good run of games. Here's Victor Gyökeres, the best striker in Europe last season. Now at Arsenal, will he be able to perform? He has already scored once in pre-season. Looking to see if Arsenal can accommodate his style of play and how that will be taken into consideration. Nottingham Forest, fantastic start to the season as well. Good fixtures. Chris Wood is there. He is getting a bit older now, guys. Let's see if he can replicate something from last season, but definitely a pick that you can go for. And at Chelsea, João Pedro is quickly making himself one of the first names on the sheet. Fantastic flying preseason, including performances in the Club World Cup. He is competing with Liam Delap, who's quite happy to take him on and has been getting game time. But I think João Pedro will probably get the start based on Enzo Maresca's setup. Lots of other strikers as well. Benjamin Sesko is in for Manchester United, but again, based on the structure of the fixtures in the first six, I've decided not to recommend him, but you can do whatever you feel will work for you. Guys, if you haven't already signed up for our league, don't forget this is the code. Guys, that's what we have for now. Get ready for game week 1. If you haven't joined the league yet. Guys, that's all we have for now. If you haven't joined the league yet, here's the code for you. Game week 1 kicks off 7:30 is the deadline tomorrow. Make sure that you have your teams in and join the league. We won't be taking in any latecomers as well. So make sure you're there. It's going to be an exciting season. Looking forward to it. Good luck. So long for now.